screen. Microphones on mute, please. Okay. So what is a workflow rule? Workflow rule is basically a rule that you can define. Like we had a validation rule for validating data. Workflow rule is a rule for automating some action, some work. Okay. So you use this workflow rule for automating some work or some action. What kind of an action can we automate here? There are 4 things that we can automate. Email, create a task, send email, create a task, update a field, and there's one more. What is that? Outbound message. Okay. So there are 4 actions that can be automated. You can send automated email, you can create a task, you can update a field, or you can send an outbound message. Outbound message means sending message outside Salesforce. So these 4 tasks can be automated. Automated will mean you define a criteria, and when that criteria is met, these actions can automatically done by Salesforce. Okay, let's say I say I want to have a automated rule for sending an email. When a lead is created, send an email to lead automatically. Okay, so whenever a lead is created, send an email to the lead automatically. So this is the criteria and this is the action. Okay, so there are 2 important things for the workflow rule. One is criteria, one is action. Okay, so when a lead is created, send an email to lead. So creation of the lead is criteria and sending of the email is the action. So a workflow rule will always have a criteria and an action. Correct? Which is very simple logic, right? I have to define a criteria for the action to be done, and I have to define the action what needs to be done. All right. So that's what we do for the workflow rule. How do we create a workflow rule? Let's quickly have a look into creating a workflow rule. Okay. So here we are. We start creating our workflow rule. How do you create it? Let's go to setup, create workflow and approvals, workflow rules. Okay, So you have to go to setup, create, workflow and approvals, workflow rules. Right, and then just go ahead and say continue here. And you can define a new rule. Okay, so let's go with the same example that we were talking about. Send an email when a lead is created. All right, so which object should we select here? Which object are we dealing with in this case?
Leads.
Leads, correct. So we are actually going to create a workflow on the lead object. Whichever object is involved in that workflow, you just have to select that object. So select lead here, then go to next, and then you give it a name, call it workflow rule 1. Okay, now the criteria, defining the criteria. When do I want to send the email? When the lead is created. Okay, you can also send an email when the lead is created or if it is edited, but that's not my criteria. You can perform some actions every time the record is edited also. Okay, so whenever someone creates a new record or whenever someone goes and makes an edit or change in the record, at that time the action will get executed. But in this case, I just want the email to be sent only when the lead is created. So I'll select that. Do I need any other criteria to be mentioned? Yes. Email should not be blank, not equals to null. There should be an email ID in the email field so that it can send the email, right? Just go and say save and next. Okay. So I'm creating the workflow rule. I have defined the criteria and I have also defined a field criteria that email ID should not be null. Okay. So the rule criteria is email not equal to null. Evaluation criteria is when a record is created. Now you have to define the action here. The criteria part is done. I told you have to define the criteria and the action. So you're done with the criteria. Now you have to define the action. What action we want to do out of these? Can you read and tell me what we need to do as per our plan?
New email address. New email alert.
Email alert is what we plan to send, right? So you can just click on new email alert, give it a description and name. We'll call it welcome email to lead. Whatever name you can put in description. Email templates are stored in your Salesforce. You can, because you're sending an automated email, you have to define a template also, right? What will be the subject line and what will be the body and everything. So you can select one of these existing templates. In case you want to create your own templates, you can always go to setup communication template in the left hand side. You see this? You can always come here and create your own template. All right, or you can select one of the existing templates. So let me just pick one of these from here. New customer email. All right, now who will be the recipient? Who should receive the email? So do I want to send the email to a user? No, I want to send it to that lead, the person who has actually shown interest. So I want to send it to the email field, to the email ID which is mentioned in the email field, right? So just select the recipient. You also have an option of adding up to 5 email addresses who can be copied on the email. Let me add my email ID here. So that's the email ID that I've mentioned in the CC. So this email ID will be copied, and this is the person who will, or this is the email ID which will receive the email. You can just go ahead and save it now. That's it. Your workflow is ready. So now if a lead is created which has an email ID inside it, the email will be sent to that lead. Only thing that you have to do is you just have to click on done here so that your workflow is done. Before the workflow starts working, you have to activate the workflow rule. Okay, so this rule needs to get activated before it works. Pretty similar to the validation rule concept that we saw yesterday. So all that I have to do is I just have to go ahead and activate the rule. Activate it. Done. So the rule is active now. Now let's go and create an email. Create a lead. Create a new lead and see if the email is being sent or not. Whatever email ID you put here, the email will be sent to this email ID. Save it. The moment this record is saved, an email will be sent to this email ID because we said recipient type is the email ID. Right. This is the email that I have received. Dear Jeet, all of us have this as a customer. I would like to introduce. See, this is basically a template. It has come from the template which was defined. But this is how you actually receive the email. Correct? So nice and easy way of automating some of your tasks, or saving some time for your team members, where these emails can be done completely in an automated fashion. Right? The same way you can actually do the other actions also, like creating a task for some user or updating a field, okay, or an outbound message. Okay. Outbound message is something which is a little out of scope right now.
But
Yeah. Just work with these three things. Yeah. Clear on this? How do we create a workflow rule? Tell me if you have any question or doubt here. So all that you have to do is, while you're creating a workflow rule, you should firstly decide on the object, then the criteria, what criteria, and what action you want to perform. Correct? Now this email which I just sent, that email action was immediate action. Immediate action means the moment the record is saved, immediate action should be taken. You can also have some delayed actions. Delayed action will mean some action which you want to delay by some time. Okay. Delayed action. What is a delayed action? Delayed action is the action which is delayed by some time. Let's say I want to send an email after 5 hours, not right now. Then you also have an option of delaying your action. How do we do that? Just go to the same workflow rule, set up, create workflow and approvals, workflow rules. Can you just give me 1 minute? I'll connect it to the charger. Hello. Yep. All right. So delayed action is what we were actually looking into. So you can just go to the same workflow rule, and before we can edit any of the actions, we have to deactivate the workflow rule. Go to the workflow rule. See, here you have immediate workflow actions where you define the action. We define the immediate workflow action, right? Just below the immediate workflow action, you have a time dependent action. Okay, so that delayed action actually we call that as time dependent workflow action in Salesforce. Time dependent, here you can define when do you want the action to happen. Okay, just click on edit here. First of all, you need to add the time trigger. When do you want the action to happen? I want it to happen 5 hours after the rule trigger. Save it. Okay, so you can put your immediate action as well as time dependent actions. See, 5 hours after the rule trigger, these time dependent workflow actions will work. Okay, what actions you want after 5 hours, you should define here. Add workflow actions. Okay, so after 5 hours I want to send another email, let's say. So again the same way, go ahead and define. Let's say this time you want to send some other template to the same email field. If you want to copy someone in this email also, same way, exactly the same way. Save it. Got it? So this way you can actually define the time dependent actions also. Done. Save.
Jeet, I have a question here. So
Mm-hmm.
say I created lead one. So first welcome email will go to that lead one. So after 5 hours, the email again go to lead one, same lead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are two actions which we have defined, and every lead will receive one immediate email, one after 5 hours, right? Every lead will receive
Yeah,
two
Jeet.
emails. Yep.
Yeah, I have one question.
Uh-huh.
Like, what's the minimum time we can do? Like, is it the
1 hour.
minimum like 5 hours?
1 hour.
Okay, so we can send every 1 hour if possible.
Huh. You can send every 1 hour, but you know that will be too much for the customer to handle. But yeah, you can send
Okay,
it. That's there.
okay, yeah.
All right.
Dave, one more thing. I'm just wondering.
Jeet, I have one more question. So
Okay, can I proceed, Vipula?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Jit, I'm just wondering. Will we learn how to create custom templates, email templates?
I mean, there's nothing to learn in that, but I'll just show you here. If you
Okay.
go to communication template, go to email template. You can create a new template. You just select whether you want to, create an HTML template or a text one. Uh, HTML is where you can actually, design the header and everything. Basically, you can actually do the styling of the text. And in the template, you just have to go and put the name of the template, whatever name you want. Make it available for use. Put a subject line, hello customer, and put the body here. Hi, how are you? Right now, if you're designing it for lead and you want to, enter the lead first name or something, here you can actually put a merge field from here. Go to lead fields, select the lead first name. Okay, so this will bring the first name of the lead here. So whichever lead is receiving, that person will receive a hi, like hi Manjeet, hi Jeet, hi Vipula, that is. Alright. So that's it. So we just have to write the subject line and make sure that you make it available for use. If you don't make it available for use, it will not display in that list where you select the templates. Right? That's it. Right? Is that simple, Manjeet?
Okay. Yeah, that's simple. But is HTML designing a HTML template, is it complex or?
HTML is where you have the formatting option. Here you do not have any formatting option. No? There you
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
formatting option.
Okay. I think there we
There,
can include the header and footer as well, right? Jeet? Is
header,
that
footer, and you will also have, the text. What do you call it? Font, size,
font? Okay.
those
All
things.
right.
So if you want to design a swanky one and I want to send using that. If you just want to do a plain text, use a text version. That's it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay,
Right?
okay. All right.
So there is nothing, which is complex in designing a template. It's the only thing that you have to keep in mind is how to bring the field, merge field, and you have to make it available for use. Rest everything is like Microsoft Word, the way we use creating documents. All right, changing the
Okay,
font,
okay.
color, size, these things.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I have one question, Jeet.
Mm-hmm.
So we created rule criteria, email not equal to null. So can't we do that? Make email as a required field there?
We
Do
can
we
do that.
still need that?
We can do that.
Then do we still need that rule criteria, or that will work as a rule criteria? Because
Will you make the email field
then,
required?
sorry,
Where will you make the email field required?
yeah, when we make the email field
Where will
required,
you make that email field required? That's what I'm asking.
sorry, can you repeat?
Where,
Your
where,
voice is,
where will you make the email field required? How will you make the email field required? Let's put it like this. How will you make the email field
uh,
required? What are the options?
so when we
Page layout or validation
Uh,
rule, whatever,
yeah,
or
page layout
validation
and
rule. Okay.
validation. Yeah,
So
validation.
you can do that. There's no problem. But that is something which you don't do inside this workflow rule. That is what I was actually trying to tell you. So you
No,
will
no,
have to do it outside that, outside the workflow rule.
no. My question is, if already the email field is required through that page layout thing,
Mhm.
so do we still need to add this criteria, or that will work as a criteria automatically? That yes, this is required field, so we don't need to make it write a criteria and
Ideally, you don't need to write the second criteria then,
okay.
because if you know that, okay, fine, your data is coming through, every time the email is getting populated, ideally you don't
Mhm.
need the second criteria then. But again, if you have made it, go back to the question again, how will you make the email field required? So answer to
Through
that can be
page
page layout. So if it is through page
page.
layout, then there is a chance of data coming into the system without email also, right?
Yeah.
So, it depends on that. So if you feel that no, every time the data is coming into this,
Mhm.
it's going to be with an email ID, it's okay.
Mhm.
If you feel that no, when it's coming into the system, it should, I mean, it may or may not have the email address, then put this criteria, right?
Okay. Got it.
Okay. So clear on this part, workflow rule, very simple thing to do and very effective and very useful uh, for for the companies, because these kind of scenarios you must have seen. When you actually go to the website of a company, you receive immediate email, or when you give a call to a certain company, or when they give you a call, you receive an immediate email. So no one is manually sending all these emails, right? There's something which is being automatically done, and there are different softwares available in the market, which do these automated emails and all. But in Salesforce you get it completely within your CRM itself, so that's a big advantage, right? So you don't have to actually buy an email tool or something like that for sending these automated responses or welcome emails and all this. Got it? Okay. So that's one thing. Now we are pretty okay on this. Now let's go into the approval process. Okay. How do we define an approval process? Okay. Let's do one thing. Let's not take up the approval process today. Tomorrow we will start discussing on the approval process. I'll need to leave a little early today. So let's not get into the approval process today because that's something which will take a bit of time. Tell me if you have any questions or doubts in the workflow rule. We can just work on that. This approval process will take a little longer for us.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
Jeet,
Hello.
yeah, Jinga, you proceed.
Oh yeah, thanks. I just needed to ask you that yesterday the workbook, the PDF of the workbook, we didn't get the PDF. As in, at least I didn't get the PDF.
The field validation one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.